today on Divorce Court.
Vaughn has an addiction with porn, and him being an ordained minister, I think that that's wrong.
Our communication is horrible. I believe once we both acknowledge our mistakes, we can come together, because I really do love my wife.
Just loving me is not enough. The kids and I have moved out. I just couldn't take it anymore.
I want the judge to tell Tammy, if you're gonna heal, let's heal. If you're gonna forgive, let's forgive.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Tamara Brown and Vaughn Brown. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, you have been together for 21 years, married for 17, but separated for the past 4 months. You have a variety of children from other relationships and your relationships, and some adopted, but you are here because you are in trouble and you want me to help you save this marriage. So, Mrs. Brown, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me what's going on and why you're here today?
Vaughn and I met, I was a cosmetologist, and he worked in a little strip mall, and he worked at the Radio Shack next door. Right. And he was pretty much stalking me. Every time I walk to the store, you know, I turn around and look, and he's standing in the doorway. I thought he was a really ugly dude. You know, I didn't like him. I thought he was
cold,
ugly.
Mrs. Brown. That was just cold.
I did. I thought he was ugly and had nappy hair and, you know.
Well, Yana, wait. She's not telling the whole story.
Yeah,
what is your version of the
The truth of it is, I believe, sometimes the prey allow themselves to be captured by the hunter.
Okay, so he was hunting me.
So she was positioning herself
exactly.
to be...
She was positioning herself.
Be caught.
Coming to my store for no reason.
I was going to the dollar store to get a drink. You know, I'm a cosmetologist. I was thirsty.
Wait.
Hey, hang on. Let her finish. Go ahead.
I was thirsty. So anyway, he every time I would go there, he was looking out the door at me.
Eventually, both of you decided you liked one another.
Well,
let's go on from there.
Eventually, you know, he turned out not to be ugly. He was kind of cute. You know, his hair turned out not to be nappy. It was really beautiful.
As you see, the illustrious locks are still there.
Go ahead.
I
went 2 other Giannis.
I gave in.
I got 21 years.
Here we are.
Right.
You know?
And here we are.
The marriage has been, it's been good overall. But I need Vaughn. He doesn't offer me the stability that a woman seeks in a marriage.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Now, Mr. Brown, I do not need your assistance. Please,
I'm sorry. Yes,
contain yourself.
All right.
Every place that we've lived in, well, I'll start, when I met him, I had my own home. Mm-hmm. And I say, okay, well, you're gonna have to split the bills with me. Every bill that I gave him was shut off. 1 month is the lights, next month is the cable. I had never had anything shut off until I handed bills over to him. And I'm thinking, okay, well, he just leaving his grandmother's house, you know, maybe he doesn't know how to finance his bills. So we moved to Texas. The same thing followed us. Only when we moved to Texas, we're married, I'm pregnant.
And utilities still getting shut off.
And utilities, not only are utilities getting shut off, eviction notices are being served.
Okay, let me deal with utilities, then I'll get to the eviction. Mr. Brown, what do you have to say about that?
Let's back up. Before we got married, I had my own place.
Right.
All right. I came from my grandmother's house to my own place. Then we got cohabitated together. Now, as far as the utilities goes, I don't know how to put it, but I'm from Detroit, and sometimes you can fudge a little bit, and
I'm from Detroit, too.
So sometimes some things you can, in my mind, the things had the order in which need to be paid.
But that's the problem in his mind.
And the utilities were cut off.
Yeah.
But they would cut back on within a day or two.
But you know, Mr. Brown, they don't cut them off like when you're a couple of days late. I mean, you really got to be tardy for the party for them to take off your utilities.
Yeah, I mean, I do admit I'm not the best with finances. I'm kind of a sporadic type dude, but the whole thing of it was no big. It wasn't a big deal.
It is a big deal, Your Honor. I'd like to tell you why.
Tell him why it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, especially now because you've gotten to the point where you have these house notes And yeah, they'll work with you in the beginning, but after a while, that landlord is tired of having to pay the mortgage because you're late. So, you know, when you owe other people money, when you owe them money and you're making arrangements and you're not keeping the arrangements, but he can't say that he's keeping the arrangements.
Hang on. Did you ever get evicted as a function of his failure to pay?
Your Honor, we were to be evicted 1 month on the 31st. We moved out on the 30th.
Your Honor, can I please respond to that?
Go ahead.
Now, for every eviction we have,
everyone,
I've always had another place already in preparation. Case in point.
Go ahead.
One house we was evicted because I didn't pay the rent because I put the rent down on another house because that house had mold in it. Mm-hmm. The back room was full of mold, and my 2 youngest kids were sick all the time.
No,
we didn't know what it was until one day my oldest boy and I moved the washer and dryer from the wall.
And you saw the mold.
It was all mold, and that explained why the kids were sick.
Well, explain the other evictions.
Again, because of how the family growing, I want another house, and
that's all.
I do admit I didn't do it the proper way. But let's say we wanted a bigger house, I would go find a bigger house and just pay toward that bigger house instead of paying where we were. That's how the eviction happened.
Whatever it is, it's an impoverished way of looking at things.
Yes.
Because you mess up your credit along the way.
Indeed.
And once you mess up your credit, getting more credit is more expensive if you can get it at all. I'm done talking about that.
Yes.
I want to know how it is Mr. Brown can both be a minister and a porn addict at the same time.
But every time I would pick up his phone and look at the history, he's been on porn. And then our computer at home, the kids go to do their homework, and what pops up? Porn.
Mr. Brown, how would you like to respond to that? Mrs. Brown, you say that Mr. Brown is both a minister and a porn addict. Please tell me about that.
In the beginning, we watched porn together. It was fun, okay? But I wasn't interested anymore. So now that we've gotten older, he knows that I'm not interested in it. But every time I will pick up his phone and look at the history, he's been on porn. And he's not on just any porn. He's on porn looking at girls that don't look like me. So it makes me insecure because you're looking at these skinny chicks. I'm a big girl.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, is that what you want? And then our computer at home, the kids go to do their homework, and what pops up? Porn.
Mr. Brown, how would you like to respond to that?
In the beginning, we did watch it together, and it was fun, like she said. But once we got married along the way, it stopped being fun for her. But it kind of was still fun for me.
Right.
And as far as my phone is concerned, quit picking up my phone. Leave my phone alone.
Your Honor, he doesn't want me to pick up his phone because every time I pick up his phone...
It never works out good for me, so...
Right. Right.
Well, what do you see when you... Other than the porn, what do you see when you pick up the phone?
Other than the porn, I see him and his sister having conversation, talking about me. I see Vaughn has a daughter that is not mine. Mm-hmm. She was born on one of our breaks. And
your wife,
baby.
Yeah.
But that leads to her jealousy, Your Honor.
Yeah. No. But it wouldn't be jealousy if I wouldn't pick up his phone
and see
what I'm seeing and how they're talking to him and how every payday his phone is blowing up. I need my hair and nails done. I need or the sister, I need bread and milk for the kids, or I need some money to do this for the kids.
Okay, why don't you tell me what's going on with what's on your phone?
Okay, when she pick up my phone and start going to my texts to my sister, we are not talking about her. I may be venting to my sister about her, but we're not.
My
sister's not downing her or giving her any bad play at all. My sister's pretty much trying to be in the middle and give me her honest opinion of whatever's going on. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, this only happened for 1 month when she was for her 16th that month of her 16th birthday, she was calling me for her hair to get done, for her hair and nails to get did, and she was quite persistent and agitated because I wasn't responding the way she wanted me to respond to her financially. That only happened one time.
Your Honor, this is every payday.
Listen. I'm never gonna get this right. I'm never gonna get this quite correct. So I brought somebody on board to help me out with this. I'm gonna bring forth a witness, Jenny Brown, your sister.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Jenny Brown, why don't you go there and stand next to your brother? And Jenny, the next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna talk to you about her jealousy, his ministry, and what the problem is.
My wife and my child's mother are the two opposing forces.
Why
with me
are
in the
we?
middle.
Why are we?
Because
he was lying to both of us.
That's not true. That is not true.
You're the lightning rod on this one. You were the person who had that extra. You had all of these children. You the daddy to all of them,
Right.
and you need to command that situation. The fact that it failed is on you. Ms. Janine Brown, how are you? You are the defendant's sister. Obviously, I know, Mrs. Brown, you didn't know she was coming. You are hot.
I am.
Why are you so angry?
Because it's always all about her.
What do you mean it's always all about her?
I feel like she's his wife, and I'm the mistress. My husband drives over the road in the truck.
Right.
He will be gone 3 days, and he will choose to be on the phone with her all day, every day.
I need to clarify,
Stop.
Your Honor.
Stop.
That's how he is at home. Nobody can talk. Nobody can get a word in edgewise. He always has to say something. But he will call her before he calls me.
Janine, I'm going to call you Janine because I got two Ms.
Yes.
Browns in here.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me what you see when you look at this relationship?
Okay, it's dysfunctional, and there's a lot of not seeing the reality of what's really going on.
Speak to me.
What's not being the truth. We talk on the phone after she done got through arguing, putting him down. She puts him down all the time. She don't support him far as business, ministry. She's very controlling, and whatever she's going through, her emotions, she's gonna bring everybody in. Her own children's. We ain't gonna talk about my niece.
Yeah, give me an example of something she's done that demonstrates her controlling or jealousy.
My brother's daughter, that's not by her. She treats her so nasty. She treats her, she comes off to her like a monster. She hates this child. She say very disrespectful and inappropriate things. She lies on his daughter. She makes sure she understands that she does not like her. From the time that, I'm gonna say for instance, when she was 12, she came to their house. She had to leave and go back home because of how nasty she was treating her.
She was 11.
Well, yeah, 11.
Now, Mrs. Brown, now I want you to take a minute and think back. Was there a time when you were less than welcoming to his daughter from another relationship that he had while he was with you?
When she was 11, it wasn't me, it was my children that made her go back home early. My children didn't like her.
Mm-hmm. But you're in charge of your children.
Exactly.
You set the tone in the home.
Exactly. And
Your Honor.
Hang on, let her finish. Go ahead.
And my husband and I set the children down and was like, why don't y'all want to sleep in the same room with Jamia? And they were like, she's too loud, she's irritating. I want to know, how does she know how I treat her? And this child has only come down twice. Your Honor, I want to tell you, since this child has been born, I have done more for his child than he has.
That is not true. That is not true.
No. What is your take on this? Is this the child that you had while you were on the break?
Yes.
Okay.
This the child I had while we were on the break. That story, when she was 11, came down here. I was at work all day, and I would come home, and you could just feel the tension in the air. Now, that particular child is the oldest of my last two. Mm-hmm. So if she was 11, my next one was 10, and next one was 8.
They were younger, yeah, okay.
So far as them having a decision on who sleeps where, I didn't see where they had a dog in a fight. Because they ain't paying no bills.
We set them down. We set the children down. This is what irritates me, because when he gets with Janine, it's all against me. You know, she wasn't even there. She knows what the child has told her. We sat our children down and we talked to them and asked them what was the problem, why is it so tense in the house? And the children spoke. It wasn't Tamara.
I believe
the
Your Honor.
children. He believed.
I believe.
But Mr. Brown, what do you believe occurred? Because you're the lightning rod on this one. You were the person who had that extra. You had all of these children. You the daddy to all of them, and you need to command that situation. The fact that it failed is on you. Why did it fail?
Now, Your Honor, to respond to that, it failed because, not because of me. I gotta, defend myself. It failed because of me. I wanted it to work perfectly, but my wife and my child's mother are the two opposing forces.
Why
with me
are
in the
we?
middle.
Why are we?
Because
he was lying to both of us.
That's not true. That is not true. I did not lie to either person. When I had the child, she threw my stuff out the window, out the house.
Got it.
She put me out. Thank God I have my own place still, but she put me out.
I got it. My understanding is that you're not the only two women fighting in his life, though. Why don't you tell me what the situation is between your wife and your other's baby's
Now,
mother?
my wife, my child's mother, oil and water, they don't mix. The longer the story is, the child's mother had a plan for us to be together, but I did not lie to her. I told her it was a friendship that went too far.
Right.
At that time, she was my girlfriend. I'm going back to my girlfriend.
Right.
We patched things together. In the meantime, she'd had the baby in the midst of all that.
Right.
So it's been two dogs over a bone, which is me, and it's like, it really wasn't.
Is that his fault, though?
That's his fault because he's never made it right.
How could he make it right?
How could I make it right?
He's never made it right. Like, he has to talk to her in private.
And tell her what's up.
And yeah, but that goes back to the phone. That goes back to looking at his phone.
I agree with you. You got to get it settled. You got to get it right. So I brought her here so we can.
Whoa, come on. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Come on.
Yeah, see?
Okay. Ms. Kimberly Wright, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
We got a hot mess going.
Yes, we do.
And I need to have all the women in Mr. Brown's life together in one room so we can resolve this matter.
I'm not in Mr. Brown's life.
Well, you are. You were the mother of his child. You were the mother of his child, so you can't pretend you're not in there.
I can't take that
we
back.
got to resolve this and figure out what's what, who's who, and get everybody going home on the right train. But I don't have time for that right now.
I know you don't. You don't have time.
So this matter is going to have to be adjourned, and we will reconvene and get this matter all settled. This matter is adjourned. It is so ordered.
She carried the hostility on from me and carried on to my child. She thought I was the cause of her and Vaughn breaking up or whatever, but I didn't know anything about her.
She didn't want her eating none of her food. She was looking at her nasty. She wouldn't speak to her. She would not talk to this child. And she set the whole house atmosphere for everybody.
I said, I know why you upset with me because I wasn't in your life.
She was full of hurt.
But I tried, but your mama wouldn't let you.
She was full of hurt.
I told her that.
Let me ask you this. Have you allowed him to participate meaningfully in his daughter's life?